got this shit knocking on.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of Under the Radar. My name is Brandon. Thank you very much for tuning in. On this week's episode, we will be going over the Dominion card, UFC 225 on CM Punk's return to the Octagon, as well as the NXT TV show, the go-home show for the NXT Takeover in Chicago, as well as our weekly Total Bellas recap. So let's just jump into it. Let's go sort of in chronological order of what happened. So we'll just first start off with the Dominion show. If you haven't listened to Philip and Carlos's recap of the Dominion show, it's okay. You don't need to watch it or listen to it, because we all know my analysis of the show is way better. So I'm just going to talk about the matches. I haven't seen the entire card. I saw kind of the matches I really cared about. I saw all of them. So let's start off with the triple threat match for the Never Openweight Championship between Tai Chi, Michael Elgin, and Hiroki Goto. A hard-hitting match. I was getting settled in a little bit, so I didn't actually watch a lot of the match, but a trend that will be going on throughout the night. A Gaijin wins a championship for New Japan, so a lot of Gaijins are champions right now in New Japan, with Michael Elgin not pinning Hiroki Goto, but beating Tai Chi for the Never Openweight Championship. So that sets up a match between Goto and Elgin, I believe, in a couple days, the 18th or 19th, on the Lion Gate shows. So we'll be looking forward to that. But one of my favorite matches, probably my second favorite match of the Dominion card, was the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship between Los Ingobernables de Japón members, Evil and Sonata, the champions, going up defending their titles against Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. This is Matt and Nick's first ever venture into the heavyweight tag team championship scene, and let's just say good thing the Bullet Cast Championship was not on the line. I didn't cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase or whatever the hell is going on with that for this show, because let's just say I think on all the main predictions, I think I maybe got one right, and that was the Ospreay Takahashi match. So basically every other match prediction I got wrong, but it was okay. It was a very enjoyable show nonetheless. And this match, as I said earlier, I love this match so much. I think that the Young Bucks told a great story. Nick usually is the house of fire, getting the hot tags, coming in, cleaning house, but in this case he went to go for a kick on, believe it was Evil, and he missed, and he kicked the ring post, so he was selling the broken foot, ankle type deal going on throughout the entire match. They went to go hit an Indie Taker, a Meltzer driver, and Nick just couldn't get up on the rope to do the flip. And then that just set up Matt's been selling his back throughout the past 6 months to a year. That's been kind of the big storyline in a lot of the Young Bucks matches. So Matt's selling the back, Nick's selling the foot, and they were still able to go old school and beat Evil and Sonata with not a Meltzer driver, not an Indie Taker. They beat him with the more bang for your buck, going a little bit old school with that. I thought this was a phenomenal match, second best match on the show. And I didn't think Young Bucks were going to win. I thought that since this was their first venture, I thought maybe they would put up a good effort, they would lose, and they go on to maybe challenge them again, maybe at the Cow Palace show, but they will be facing off again in the Cow Palace show, but this time the Young Bucks will be the champion, and Evil and Sonata will be going up to try to get their championship back. So we will talk a little bit about the Cow Palace show after the recap. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we will talk about it on the main Bullet Cast show, so not going to go too much in depth about the card for Cow Palace show, because there's only been 4 matches announced. We don't exactly know all the matches, but definitely the 4 top matches have been announced for the show. So next up, we have a 6-man tag team match. We have Jushin Liger, Rey Mysterio, and Hiroshi Tanahashi going up against the Bullet Club, containing Cody Rhodes, Hangman Page, and the Never Openweight 6-man tag team champion, along with the Young Bucks. That would be Marty Scurll. And I thought the old baby faces were going to get a win here. They didn't. it made a lot more sense after the show concluded why this happened. Cody gets a pin on Liger. Liger out of the three, obviously, the least protected out of them. Liger's a legend. He's done fantastic things for the industry and for junior heavyweight, cruiserweight wrestling matches, but he's up there in age. He's older than Rey Mysterio. He's older than Tanahashi. Neither one of them, Mysterio or Tanahashi, I think, will have a big resurgence in their career. Maybe Tanahashi. Don't think he'll challenge. He won't main event a Wrestle Kingdom anytime soon, but they definitely want to protect him, especially going into the G1, and Rey Mysterio has some big things, probably challenging for the Junior Heavyweight Championship down the line. And Cody Rhodes beat Liger, as I said. We'll get into what Cody will be doing later on in the show, but just a simple match, nothing real special going on here. Just everyone gets their spots in. Rey Mysterio, by the way, looked fantastic with his ring gear. We all know Rey Mysterio for having fantastic gear, especially at WrestleMania. Not a WrestleMania, not a Wrestle Kingdom, but he showed up. He was in the full New Japan line outfit. He had like half Mysterio. He had half New Japan, the tiger logo or lion logo, and it looked phenomenal. Unfortunately, we're not able to get the win, but this does probably set up Mysterio going up against Marty Scurll, as we saw at the Long Beach show a couple months ago. So next up, we have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match with Will Ospreay going up against Hiromu Takahashi, and this match was great as well. I said that this might be the most athletic, high-flying match of the show, just because I thought Okada and Omega were just going to go so long that they couldn't do a lot of things. They did a whole lot of stuff in that match, but this match was phenomenal as well. All the championship matches delivered. The second half of the show, go out of your way to see. As I said last week, if you only have $10 to spare this week or this month, and you can only choose between New Japan and the WWE Network, go out and watch this Dominion show, because I don't think they will be one match. Even if you put into account the Takeover special, I don't think any match on the Takeover special or Money in the Bank will come close to the matches on Dominion. If you put the top three matches up against the top three matches at Dominion against the top three matches in both NXT and WWE this weekend, I don't think they're even going to hold a candle to it. And this is definitely one of those matches. Ospreay and Takahashi just doing crazy things. Ospreay selling the neck once again. Takahashi going through hell as he went through the Best Super Juniors, and he is the champion, so that's why he was able to challenge Will Ospreay for the championship. They set up big spots. The big spot that they were going to do, which fortunately, did not actually happen the way they wanted to. I believe it was Ospreay took off. It doesn't really matter at this point. Somebody took off the padding on the ringside area, and this set up Takahashi to do a sunset flip powerbomb onto the floor on the concrete on Will Ospreay's injured back, and unfortunately he did not actually land on the concrete. He landed basically on the folded area of the padding, so he actually fell on more padding than no padding at all, which I thought was great. There was early on in the match, Ospreay did a running, I don't know what you would call it, a front flip, somersault, I don't know what the hell you call it, but he ran like 10 yards, 20 yards, and he did a flip onto Takahashi, landed it clean as a whistle, and it was just a great match. So Ospreay loses the championship. Hiromu Takahashi pulls it out in 20 minutes and 19 seconds. Phenomenal match. I think our boy Dave Meltzer gave it 4.5 stars, so second best match on the show. I don't know if I would say second best. I really, really like the tag team match between the Young Bucks and Evil Sonata. I thought that was a phenomenal match. This match, not take anything away from this match, but if I would go, I don't know, just like there's so much good wrestling that was on this show, and I stayed up to watch it. I started from 12 o'clock, midnight, and I watched all the way up until 5 o'clock in the morning. Got little sleep on Saturday, but who cares? It was all worth it because I saw probably the best show of the year thus far. And onwards to probably maybe the most newsworthy match of the show, just talking about what came out of it. We have Chris Jericho up against Tetsuya Naito. For the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, Chris Jericho is a 9-time WWE Intercontinental Champion. He was going for his 10th overall IC strap, and he was able to pull it out. Chris Jericho beats Naito in a crazy brawl. Let's see how much did this. 19 minutes it lasted. A great match. Just such a different match than what all the other matches are. You had, high-flying stuff with the cruiserweight match. You had a great story being told in the tag team match and the IWGP heavyweight match. They told a great story here. Chris Jericho is kind of the crazy old man. He's even put it on a little bit of weight. He kind of not as a beer gut, but he's just kind of a little more chunky. I kind of call him like Angry Dad Jericho is what I've kind of called him right now. He came out. He had like a sparkly top hat. He had his scarf on. He had like a leather jacket, and he had crosses on his eyes, and he had black lipstick. I guess I never seen this movie, but I guess it was a reference, or he looked like somebody that was in Clockwork Orange. So if you know what that is, shout out to that. I don't exactly know who the name of the person in the Clockwork Orange, but apparently he looked like that. And Chris Jericho looks crazy. He's just on another level right now. He's reinvented himself, maybe out of necessity more than just having fun with it, just because Jericho is up there in age. He's in his late 40s. He's not going to go out there and have crazy matches like it was in the late 90s, if I can spit that out, like the last time he was over there in Japan. But I think him just being a crazy heel, just brawling everywhere, is a good way for Jericho. Not too much crazy spots, but Naito did get some color up in the eye area. Don't exactly know if it was above the eye or even on the eyelid, but it did not look very good. It looked like there was blood in Naito's eye. Jericho attacked Naito before the match, so a lot of the match wasn't even the match. Like, Jericho was just whooping up on Naito for like a good 5 to 10 minutes before the bell even rang. Fighting on around the ringside. We had table spots, and the tables in Japan are no joke. They are hard as hell. They are like shoot tables. They're not like WWE tables where maybe they cut them beforehand and glue them back together and someone breathes on it and it just happens to crumble. Jericho flipping people off. The funniest moment of the match, Jericho kind of does a Rock in No Way Out 99. Takes the camera, puts it on Naito, and flips the camera off. I wish they had that shot. I don't know why they didn't go to that shot, because it wasn't like it was a 2-second like little throwaway thing. Like he took it, he put it up there, he like said something, and then he flipped it off. Like this was like in 15 seconds. Yeah, I don't know why you couldn't go straight to that shot. There were some shots that were missed on this show, but the most important shot, the best shot maybe of the year in terms of cinematography in a wrestling show, they were able to get that in the Okada Omega match. We would get to that a little bit later, but Chris Jericho, kind of shocking. So one of the matches it all kind of depended on what Jericho was doing. If Jericho was staying, it made sense to put the IC title on him. Naito once again loses another big match. He lost to Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, loses to Chris Jericho here. Is this a sign that they're building Naito up for a huge comeback? He's going to finally get that Wrestle Kingdom main event win that he's been wanting. Is he going to go on and win the G1, face Omega, or face somebody else for whoever has the IWGP Championship at that point? But Jericho wins the title, not advertised for the Cow Palace show. He said on Inside the Ropes with Kenny McIntosh that he is not going to do any U.S. shows for New Japan. It's just kind of a structured deal right now. He just wants to go over there and do stuff in Japan. He doesn't want to go. I think it's probably like a respect thing from Vince McMahon. He doesn't want to kind of intrude on his territory, which I respect. It was kind of a nice gesture for Vince to let Jericho to go over there and not really throw a fuss about it. I don't exactly know what he would do in terms of like holding Jericho back, because wrestlers are supposed to be independent contractors and can do whatever they want. But we all know that's not really the case. So maybe Jericho would have been blackballed from WWE and he would just be buried, kind of like I guess maybe like how CM Punk was. But Jericho beats up Naito after the match. Evil comes to make the save, so watching, I was like, okay, maybe we're going to get an Evil Jericho match at the Cow Palace. We are not going to get that, because to my knowledge, Jericho is not going to show up at the Cow Palace. I thought that might have been a really good way to bolster ticket sales for the Cow Palace. Don't exactly know what the final attendance would be They're hoping for 10,000. I wouldn't be shocked if it's somewhere between 5 and 7.5. I mean, I do not see at this rate, less than a month out, them selling an extra maybe 5,000 tickets. I mean, maybe they do if they, because especially with the main event being Cody and Kenny, they can sell, or they can build it up on the Being the Elite YouTube channel, kind of how they did for the WrestleMania weekend match. But that is a story for another day. So Jericho looks like setting up a feud with Evil. Maybe just kind of, because in New Japan, sometimes there's not always that automatic rematch. So Naito lost. Maybe he's not going to challenge for the title again. There's the story of Naito not even caring about the championship. He just kind of left it on the ramp when he made his entrance. And Jericho, after the fact, talked about how he loves the title. He's going to eat with the title, sleep with the title, shit with the title. He's going to do everything with the title. He made it seem like it's his little baby, which I appreciate. Naito, not the biggest fan of him treating the title like garbage, but that is his gimmick. He has gotten over with that. And there were parts in this match where Naito was making his comeback a little bit, and he spat on Jericho a couple times, and the crowd was booing him, which was a little shocking to me. Naito might be the most not over babyface, but the hottest person in the company at the moment right now. Everyone loves Naito, and then when he was doing that stuff to Jericho, he was getting booed. So I don't know if that's a testament to how over Jericho is, how big of a star he is, and everyone just loves him, or just not, people not liking Jericho or Naito spitting on Jericho. So interesting finish. Fun to see what they'll do when Jericho will return. Will it be at the end of the G1 Climax? Whenever Jericho could fit New Japan in the schedule, because obviously he's the champion. People make a big deal about Brock Lesnar not defending the championship all that often. Just broke CM Punk's record, and he's had a tenth of the title defenses that CM Punk has had. But obviously Jericho looks like he's staying with New Japan for a long time, at least towards Wrestle Kingdom. So it'll be fun to see who Jericho faces at Wrestle Kingdom, because I do expect him to be there and to be defending the IC Championship. It's just a matter of who. Is it Naito again? I don't think it'll be Evil. It might be Naito, Okada, maybe Tanahashi. Somewhere up in that top tier of New Japan. I love Evil. I think Evil was great. He was fantastic last year in the G1, beating Okada, having the championship match with him. But I just don't think Evil is probably going to be the next challenger for the IC Championship, but I don't see him being the challenger at Wrestle Kingdom. So on to the main event, the match everybody's been talking about. It was rated 7 stars by Big Dave just today. That would be the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, with Kazuchika Okada, the champion, going up against Kenny Omega in a no time limit 2 out of 3 falls match. And I mean, I don't know what else can be said about this match. If you haven't seen this match, go out and see it. It was great. Still debating if it's better, if it's the best out of the 3 matches. I really liked that first match a lot, and I liked the second match a lot. The reason why I would say this match might be the best out of all 4 of them is just because it was built. They used stories from the other 3 matches and built on top of that, and it was a big crescendo. Not saying this will be the end of the feud, because Omega even said in his press conference afterward that this feud is not over. It's just over for now. So let's just start from the beginning. Kenny comes out, Kenny has a mini movie, something on the Tron, where Kenny is all hurt and he's kind of reflecting back of what all this happened, and he's all in black, and then he finds a white feather on the ground, and he looks up, and it's Ibushi draped in all white with feathers all around him, and they talk in Japanese, and Ibushi's like, "What did it cost you?" And Omega said everything, and it had the Bullet Club, not the Bullet Cast logo, the Bullet Club logo, and it just kind of disappeared, kind of like the Avengers movie. If you haven't seen that, I mean, you're living under a rock at this point. Spoiler alert. But, anyways, then they come out, Omega and Ibushi come out down the ramp, which is a big deal, because for all the other matches, for all the big matches Kenny has had, it's always been him and the Young Bucks by his side. So still playing up the dissension between the Bullet Club and the Elite and what's going on with that. And then Okada comes out, money falling from the sky, making it rain, and they go out. So 2 out of 3 falls match. The first fall, they go back and forth, starting a little bit slow, and the first fall did not happen for at least a half hour. Yes, 29 minutes, 16 seconds. Okada wins with a cradle? Hold on. Let me see if I can see exactly. He just kind of... Okay, so basically what happened is Kenny was on the offensive, and then Okada kind of pulls one out of his ass and pins on a kind of... I don't exactly know what the hell it is. You just watch the match, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He kind of rolls him up for the win, so sort of a shock win at 30 minutes, something never done before. Always, it's been like the V-trigger or the Rainmaker that's been the finish, so just kind of putting something out there. Haven't seen a Rainmaker yet. In the beginning, both of the guys were going for their finishers, Rainmaker, One Wing Angel, there we go. So they're kind of going back and forth. Both of them were ducking out of it. Omega kept trying to go for the One Wing Angel, but Okada had it scouted. And then this really put Kenny in behind the 8 ball. And not only did he have to defeat Okada twice, he had to do it back-to-back, because Kenny was looking like the better person in this match throughout the entire match. Kenny, the story is that Kenny's been training so hard. This is like his goal. He really wants to beat Okada. He's tried so many times, and he's only able to do it once, and it wasn't for the championship. And so he trained diligently for this moment, and he was looking so good. He just couldn't hit the One Wing Angel. And right when you think Kenny was miking a win, Okada gets him out of nowhere and pins him, and that really put Kenny, a lot of stress on Kenny, maybe had to change up his strategy. So then next up we have the second fall happening at 51 minutes, 38 seconds, so around 20-something minutes after the fact, and we had 2-minute breaks in between each fall, so that was a good way they were able to kind of sell the exhaustion. And that was one of the things that was so great about this match, is they were selling so well, and it wasn't like it was like slowing the match down at any points. Like, you're able to breathe, and like when someone hits a big move, like Kenny hitting the One Wing Angel, and he wasn't able to pin him, which came on in the third fall, it's like Okada's selling the hell out of it, Kenny's selling the exhaustion. Okada rolled like halfway across the ring, and Kenny can't go over to grab him. I mean, just all the little stories that were being told in this match was so great. Ibushi was there at ringside. He had a white towel in his hand, and that's kind of a throwback, or kind of a callback to the draw, the second match, the 60-minute draw in Dominion last year, where Cody came out to maybe throw in the towel for Kenny, knowing he wasn't going to be able to win. The Young Bucks come out and stop him and say that he got it, and there was no teasing of the white towel, but Ibushi didn't have the white towel to begin with, and then he had it during the second and third falls. Don Callis pointed out, why does he get the white towel out of his hand? He doesn't need it. I just thought it was a great story. A lot of different callbacks. Kenny trying to go for the Snapdragon off the top rope. Thank God he didn't do it, because the first time he did it in the first match, I mean, Okada damn near killed himself. But Kenny was able to hit a shit ton of V-triggers and hit Okada with the One Wing Angel to even up the score 1-1. Still have not seen a Rainmaker up to this point, which is a very big deal up to here, because you've seen the One Wing Angel, you have not seen one Rainmaker out of Okada. Okada has gone for it many times, hasn't hit it yet. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind for the third fall. And Okada is just laying on the ground forever. He's like, during the 2 minutes, he's just laying there, passed out, just breathing heavily. Just he's exhausted, as I was exhausted for something in the morning watching this match. And then Okada, or Omega. See, with Omega and Okada, they're just such similar names. We're trying to go back and forth and talk about it. It's such a hassle. But anyways, Omega jumps on Okada, tries to put him away, and Okada slips out of the One Wing Angel, and then we're off to the races. And then the next fall did not happen until 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 27 seconds. So I said they're going to try to do something, really crazy, maybe going 90 minutes, which thank God they didn't. But I think if they did go 90 minutes, I think they would have been able to still keep the crowd. I don't exactly know what time that is Japan time of when the match actually ended, but my God, this match was fucking amazing. That deserved a curse word on this. Omega hits a Styles Clash on Okada. He actually did a double stomp early on in the match, so kind of a shout out to the other Bullet Club members, the Bullet Club leaders with AJ Styles and Prince Devitt, aka Finn Balor. A match, something he did, not in an Okada match, but in another match. I think it was a G1 match where he hit a Styles Clash and a Bloody Sunday, which was Finn Balor's move back in New Japan, but now he's more known for the double stomp, so that's why he did it. Some other stuff in the match. The spot of the night was Okada goes for the Rainmaker at the very end, and he collapses and unable to hit the Rainmaker. And this was a direct callback to when they were doing the Dominion match. Okada goes for the Rainmaker, and Omega collapses under pure exhaustion, and Okada goes tumbling over Kenny. I thought that one was still a better spot than the second one, but the second one builds off the first one, so that's kind of why this match right here is like such a great match, because it builds off all the different layers that they set in the other matches last year. And Kenny able to pull it off, hits a one-wing angel and pins him. As I said earlier on, Kenny hit a one-wing angel, wasn't able to cover him because he was so far away, and he was able there was one point in the match where Kenny, or whatever, this was the very end I believe, where Kenny goes for the one-wing angel and you're kind of falling just because it's really hard. It's a really hard move to take, honestly. And Okada's kind of falling down, so he's not able to actually grab him clean and hit the one-wing angel, but he was still able to muscle it out and hit it, which was a great spot. I don't think that was the final one. That might have been the second one. Or, this match was so long, there's just so much stuff going on. One other thing that happened was that Kenny went to go hit the Phoenix Splash after Kota Ibushi told him to. Kota gets on the ring apron, tells Kenny to hit the Phoenix Splash to try to win, and of course it backfires, so maybe that might be a little seed planted. I was thinking maybe that's how Kenny was going to lose. He was going to listen to Kota, and then he misses the Phoenix Splash, and then Okada ends up pinning him. Not going to say there's going to be dissension, but just kind of a seed planted for eventually when Omega and Ibushi face off against each other, because we all know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And so that's also sort of a callback to when Ibushi had his matchup against Okada a few years ago, back when Kenny was still the cleaner. He was still the junior guy in the Bullet Club. He went up against Okada, and Kenny was able to distract Ibushi, and that was how let me rewind that back. Ibushi was facing AJ Styles for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and Omega comes up on the ring apron, distracts him, and that was how AJ was able to beat Ibushi to retain the championship. So a whole bunch of different little things going on here. And then at the very end, Omega wins. Ibushi's there consoling him. And then the Young Bucks come out, and Kenny doesn't even take the IWGP Championship. He pushes it to the side to hug Matt and Nick. And this forms the Golden Elite with Kota, Kenny, Matt and Nick all together as one. Great match. Definitely go out of your way to see. After the promo, or not after the promo, but after all the little group hug that happened, Cody comes out, teases he's going to do something, but then he just goes back in to the back. So that's sort of set up the Cow Palace match that will be going on in less than a month. Excited to see that. So yeah, that's the Dominion card. Let's go on to the CM Punk fight that happened at UFC 225. Went up against Mike Jackson. I listened to Philip's recap of it, and I just think Philip was just not hard enough on CM Punk. CM Punk did not look good at all. This match was terrible. Mike Jackson looked like he wasn't even trying to win the match. He wasn't trying to finish it. He beat him up. Maybe you can make a claim that he should that Punk might have won the first round just because he kind of took him down at the very end, kind of was pushing the pace, but Jackson was still still hitting clean shots on him, and as the fight went on, the second round was not even close. It was a 10-8 round. All the judges scored it that way. Jackson, I mean, he's not even a great fighter. Like with Mickey Gall, it was kind of the unknown of he's a young guy, he's going up against Punk, and he just pummeled him, and we're like, okay, maybe Mickey Gall will be something. But this Mike Jackson guy, like, we already know what he is. He's not that great of a fighter. Maybe he's a little bit more athletic than Punk is. He's a little younger than him. But I mean, CM Punk just did not look very athletic. There was points in times where he was like swinging and missing. He just looked slow on the feet. He was stumbling a little bit, and Mike Jackson was able to get him on the ground, even though that wasn't his strong suit. And CM Punk was punching up instead of just getting out of it. Just like the announcers were saying is just like, get your legs off of him and push off of his thighs and just get up. Like it was. I'm not going to say it was a laughable performance by Punk, but it's just not a good performance by him. If Jackson probably wanted to end it, he could have ended it, but that was also something coming out of the fight, was that Jackson looked like a hot dog. He was just kind of maybe prolonging the fight just because he wanted to get some TV time out of it, which, I mean, if that's true, I mean, that guy's should not be in the UFC, and I don't think he is going to be in the UFC. Dana White basically buried him in the press conference afterwards, saying that it was a joke and it probably should have been on Fight Pass, and it probably should have been on Fight Pass in terms of the quality of the fight. That it shouldn't have been on the card at all, to be honest. But if it was up to me, I would have probably put it as the prelim main event, maybe the second to last main event, because the show was a little stacked. They did have a lot of good talent on this show, so maybe put the prelim main event in the on the pay-per-view, and then have the CM Punk match as the prelim main event. But nonetheless, like, shout out to CM Punk. He showed great heart. He didn't quit. Like, he was getting his ass beat. He could have quit in between the second, third round. He didn't. I don't know what the future holds for CM Punk. Does he go off and fight in Bellator? Does he go off and fight in like not underground, but like low-level indie MMA promotions just to get a win? A pro win, something. I don't think CM Punk. CM Punk might just give this up and just be like, okay, it was fun. I tried it out. Maybe he'll still train, but he just won't fight. So that's it for that. I mean, I assume we're probably gonna talk a little bit more about it on the Bullet Cast, but that's kind of my quick little recap of CM Punk's fight. I just didn't think he looked very good at all, and it was just kind of laughable of what he put out there. It was really bad. So let's go on to the NXT recap. We have the go home show going into Takeover Chicago. So a lot of good wrestling on the show. Not some video packages. The only thing that really happened in terms of forwarding storylines would be the main event segment with Aleister Black and Lars Sullivan. So let's just get into it. War Raiders go up against Ricky Martinez and Justin Storm, squash match. The War Raiders go over very strong here, and then afterwards they call out the Mighty, formerly known as TM61, beat up the Jobbers a little bit, and then this sets up a match between the four at the next week for NXT, so that would be a good match to see. I assume that'll be taped at the Takeover event, either before the show or after the show. I'm not exactly sure how that happens. But anyways, another match. They set this match up last week as Kassious Ohno goes up against EC3. They told the story, the announcers did, as Kassious Ohno kind of being the veteran. He's been on sort of a losing streak lately, hasn't really been a little bit of a disappointment, honestly, is what they kind of portrayed him as. EC3, I think, was clearly the heel in this situation, but still the fans like him. EC3 hasn't done anything too dastardly to turn the fans against him at this point, so he's still a new heel that everyone likes. I assume going maybe EC3 might be the next challenge. Maybe not the next challenger, but he probably will be getting a NXT Championship shot down the road. Maybe have a interim match with Ricochet or some other babyface to kind of cement him as being a heel, because Kassious Ohno, as much as I love him, as much as I think they should be doing so much more with him, he just hasn't been built up to be not even a top mid-card. He's just kind of a lower mid-card guy, really just an opening match guy. Last time I went to a NXT house show, he opened the show. It was fun to see him. I don't know if he's making more money in NXT than he is on the indie scene, but if he is, good for him. EC3 got the win, quick fashion, 4 minutes 4 seconds. Kassious Ohno was actually kind of dominating for most of it. He hit some forearms, hit some kicks, and then EC3 just kind of rolled out of a roll up and was able to hit his, was it 1%er for the win? But EC3, I don't know what they're doing with him. Is he going to be a heel? Is he going to be a babyface? Because right now he's kind of ambiguous at the moment. I mean, I say if you're going to turn him heel, if he's going to be a heel, which it looks like he is, just turn him heel and do something about it. Make him do something. Make him be the next Tommaso Ciampa, where everyone legit hates his guts. Yeah. So we have another squash match. We have Bianca Belair against Aaliyah. Aaliyah, we've seen her on NXT before. Was she in the, I think she was in the Mae Young Classic. She was a genie. She was on the Breaking Ground show a year or two ago, and now she's kind of like a Versace model type thing. She was like decked out in like this red and yellow getup. So kind of a gimmick change for Aaliyah. Not much to say about her because she was dominated by Bianca Belair in 2 minutes 53 seconds. A good showing by Belair. Kind of the same thing for EC3 in this match. She didn't really show heel tendency. She was kind of aggressive, but she was, confident, doing athletic things. So it was easy to get behind her in this match, but she did something after the fact, which kind of further cemented her as a heel. Good showing for Bianca, especially after the video packages that we saw from her a couple weeks ago. So she's on the right track. So then they did a video package for Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross's match coming up for TakeOver. I thought it was good. Sit-down interview with Shayna Baszler, and then Nikki Cross was kind of in some alley with a dumpster or a trash can fire, and she was throwing the Queen of Hearts card or Queen of Spades card in the fire. So just kind of back and forth. I am enjoying the build for this. Nikki Cross is just the crazy baby face that's getting under the skin of Shayna. Maybe they will be a title change. We will find out what my predictions are next or tomorrow on the Bullet Cast as we do the predictions for that. But right now I think this is a good showing for both of them. Good video package. Shayna came across as a bully, kind of came across as arrogant, and Nikki was just her old crazy self, and it kind of recapped what's been going on the past couple weeks. So nothing in terms of forwarding storylines. We're just kind of getting us catching up on what has been going on with the feud. So then we have a backstage segment with Dakota Kai doing an interview with Kathy Kelly, and then Bianca Belair shows up, kind of talks to her, kind of being mean, and this is kind of when we were like, okay, Bianca Belair is definitely the heel bullying Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai had her match with Shayna Baszler a couple weeks ago. She kind of talked about how she's gaining her confidence back after that, and so we will have a match, or Shayna Baszler, Belair challenged Dakota Kai for a match, and we will be getting that match next week on NXT. So we have two matches set up. We got Bianca Belair and Dakota versus Dakota Kai, and then we have War Raiders up against the Mighty. So two really good matches that we should be looking forward to on next week's NXT show. So next up we have the main event match of Kyle O'Reilly going up against UK champion Pete Dunne for the United Kingdom Championship. A really good match. I love Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne so much. Might be a little bit higher on Kyle O'Reilly than most people are, just because I think they kind of slot him as a tag team wrestler, but I think especially in NXT he's been showing some more personality, but he's a little undersized, so that is always kind of a detraction, or I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But anyways, the match lasted about 11 minutes. Really, really great match, especially for how short it was. Definitely not on the same level as other UK Championship matches that we've seen in the past. But for this short 10-minute match on NXT, really great. Then after the match, we had Adam Cole and Roderick Strong come out to beat up Dunn, and then Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan make the save, sort of setting up the tag team match that's going to happen at NXT TakeOver. The tag team match, the tag team championship match, hasn't really been built up all that much in terms of like storylines and stuff like that, but the match itself is going to be a great match. Might be the opener. Maybe Ricochet and Velveteen Dream will be the opener, but we'll just have to wait and see the match order. But I think this match, in terms of storyline, and in terms of crowd response, might not get the strongest reaction out of everybody, but I think in ring it can be a really strong match. So they announced the 2 matches that will be going on next week, and then we had Aleister Black make his way out to do the cut his go home promo. Kept it short and sweet. Kind of talked about how he's gonna how Lars Sullivan blocked his black mask, but he's gonna make him fade to black, and all in all it was maybe like a 1.5 minute promo by Black, and then Sullivan comes out, talks to him a little bit, and beats up Aleister, just lays him out, hits his finisher multiple times on him. So the final visual of the show is Sullivan holding up the NXT Championship over Black's unconscious body to solidify that Sullivan is a major threat to Aleister Black. And is this the main event? I'm not sure. I don't think it will. I think it'll probably be Gargano and Ciampa. They did do a video package on Gargano and Ciampa's whole feud going up. So, really good video package for this one. Not as good as probably the Velveteen Dream Ricochet one they had last week. But probably better than the women's title match they had this week, just probably because of the story that they told. They kind of had some sit-down interviews with, I almost said Ricochet. Jesus H Christ, I've been talking to myself for a long time. How long has this been? 40 minutes, jeez. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa each had sit-down interviews, kind of talking about the match a little bit. But so not sure about the match order, but I'm really looking forward to this match, the show in general. Kind of the first time in a long time I've been watching NXT TV, so watching the whole build-up and then watching the match or watching the Takeover specials, because in the past, maybe the past year, I think maybe the last time I really watched the NXT product on a regular basis was probably when Finn Balor was champion. So it's been a while since I've been watching NXT on a regular basis, but I am excited to see what this Takeover in Chicago will be. I don't expect it to be the best one ever. Will it be better than New Orleans this year? I mean, it can be. If they if they go to the highest level they possibly can, I think they can pull it off for the win. If they can pull it off and be better than New Orleans. But all in all, NXT, will it be better than Money in the Bank? I honestly don't know. Money in the Bank I think is a really good show, but Takeovers always deliver. And it's going to be a fun weekend. I had Dominion last week, and have NXT and Money in the Bank this week. It's going to be a fun time. So, on to our Nikki Bella. I mean, it's basically the Nikki Bella show at this point. We have the Total Bellas recap. We have Royal Rumble coming up. They are training for that. Nikki's still getting over the breakup between her and John Cena. So sad that they were not able to work things out. But anyways, some other side storylines is they got a call from I don't know, the University of Tampa University, something like that, and Mama Bella lives out her lifelong dream of becoming a broadcaster. She was doing the weather, and she did a terrible job, and then Nikki Bella came to save the day, and then she showed how bad that she was, and then she gave Mama Bella confidence to do the weather woman job. We're all gender neutral here. Weather person job. There we go. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing was kind of built around Royal Rumble. The Bella twins go up, they go there, and John gave him the cold shoulder, didn't talk to Nikki or the family once throughout the entire show. It was so mean. I mean, John Cena's an asshole for that. I know it's a busy day and he just had things he had to do, but like, you couldn't even go up and say hi to them? Like, the audacity of John Cena. But next week might be a big one. We might actually see the reunion of we are going to see the reunion of John Cena and Nikki Bella, but will we see them reconnect, and will they get back together, what we've all been waiting for and wanting? Because honestly, if John Cena and Nikki Bella can't be together forever, like, what is love anyways? But that is kind of the big hook for next week. Nikki Bella and John Cena are going to go out to dinner together, and they are going to talk about their differences, and maybe John Cena will say that I will have a child with you, but probably not, because John Cena's a dick. Yeah, so Daniel Bryan's always lovable. Daniel and Brie Bella are relationship goals, but John Cena and Nikki Bella, I mean, they got to get their shit together. It seems like I cussed probably more on this Total Bellas recap than anything else on the show, but it just really gets me fired up. It really gets me emotionally invested. I wish WWE could get people as emotionally invested in their Raw and SmackDown shows as they can in this Total Bella stuff, because this is reality TV and it's real, damn it. So that's it for Under the Radar. 45 minutes. Spent damn near all of it talking about Dominion, but gosh darn it, it was a great show, and y'all need to go out and watch it. I can't say enough about this match. If I were to pick, I think at this moment I will still say that the Wrestle Kingdom match, the first match, I think is still the best, just because it was shorter, it was high octane. I know it didn't have the story built into it like all the other matches did, but I still think in a bubble, if nobody else watched, if you've never seen a wrestling match in your life, or you've never seen Okada Omega before, I think if you show them the first match, I think that might be the best one. So thank you guys very much for listening. Make sure to follow the Bulletcast and all the other ventures on social media and Instagram and stuff like that. Check out my other podcast that I do, Curveballs and Chair Shots, where I talk about wrestling as well as sports. So, if you want to get my in-depth analysis, probably more, I talk a little bit more on that show than I do on the Bulletcast about Raw and SmackDown. I get a little bit more in-depth and talk about my feelings, because that's what y'all want. You want to hear about what I think about the topic. But we do talk about sports. We're going to talk about Triple G and Canelo signing the rematch. Some other things going on. It's dog days of summer right now, so with the finals and the Stanley Cup over, not a lot to talk about in the world of sports, but wrestling's always year-round. That's what WWE touts. So thank you guys very much for listening, and goodbye, and good night. Bang.